And then you're going to see the trachea. And you can't miss it. The other probe. Where's the other probe? The what one? You can't miss it. Listen. Those are the ridges from the cartilage. Okay. If you look well at the trachea, I wish I had a light that was working. Right here. You see how it has the ridges here? And then it has a different color. Do you see that? Different color. Ridges, different color. And it looks almost like the head of an arrow. Okay? That area right there is the larynx. That's the larynx. Pin through it, and I lift that flap right there. I've lifted on the opposite area. Just don't want to get cut. Right there. The flap. Those are vocal cords. What do I have? The pharynx. Okay? Now, mark it because I'm telling you this is what you have to do and learn it over the weekend. And it's up to you if you want to take it home. When you cut the esophagus, you're going to have tube. You see a tube? You see the tube? The esophagus. All right. Now, the esophagus, if you look at the sheet, can be found in 3 places. On the front of the sheet, look to the front, to roll over from over there and hold this down. Who's going to hold this down? Okay. Look at this. Now, all of this white stuff, what do we call it?
Fascia.
Fascia. If we look, and we look at this vessel, there's a vessel here, obviously, coming out. And this vessel has something coming out of it. What does it have coming out of it? What does it have coming out of it? Blood vessels. So this one has to be a major blood vessel. What do you think it is?
The aorta.
That's exactly what it is. That's the aorta.
Smart, Brandon.
Right there. That's the aorta. Okay? Then, if we look and we separate all this fascia, we have, and connective tissue, we have a tube. What is that? The esophagus. So the esophagus from behind, it goes down, and now the esophagus is going to go through this. What is this?
The diaphragm.
The diaphragm. So if we lift the diaphragm, if we lift the stomach, we're going to see that the esophagus enters the stomach. Now you can bring that down and hold this down for me.
Oh. You want me to hold it?
No, because then your arm will be over and they can't see. Here. Right there. Do you see the tube entering the stomach? I'm holding the stomach in my hand. Do you see the tube? Okay, move your hand a minute.
Oh.
Just folded it backwards. I didn't know whether you can do that.
I'm going to pin it. The tube that enters the stomach, you see it?
Yeah.
Esophagus. Cardiac sphincter. It's right there.
Valve.
At the end, what do you think we have there? Pyloric sphincter. You learned it. It's called, she knows it because she's going over it. This, peritoneum. This is what was enfolding and protecting the intestines. And then, this is a nice big male.
Uh-oh. What is this?
No, I'm not doing anything.
How do we know it's male?
Membrane back, these things have a hook on them.
Yeah.
It's called a hook of baculum, and it's towards the end of your sheet. The penis has a hook, it's a bone, so that these animals are ready, willing, and able, these mammals. And so are dogs, and so are cats. The falciform ligament. Falciform ligament. And then, of course, you have the diaphragm. So let's go through some of the things that you can see, obviously, that are on that sheet that you're going to mark. Over here, And if you look at this, we have, what is that? Lungs. And there's about 6 lobes on these things. This is a gland. This gland is the thymus gland. No, thyroid is up above. Thymus gland. On the heart, there's a loose-fitting membrane. Do we remember what it is?
The pericardium.
Which one?
Pericardium?
No.
Peritoneum?
Parietal pericardium. On the wall of the thoracic cavity, remember the flora I showed you? That would be parietal flora. But on the lungs themselves, look at that. What do we have? Visceral flora. Visceral flora. Then we have diaphragm. And what was this again?
Falciform ligament.
Falciform ligament. And this whole thing? Liver. And this thing? Gallbladder. In between the liver lobes. And urinary bladder right here.
Andrea?
And you can see this membrane. I need this. You can see this membrane.
It was bothering me.
You can see the membrane over here. That's, remember when the umbilical arteries go around the bladder, remember? These are the membranes that become like ligaments to hold the bladder in place. It's the bladder, and it wasn't full either. So that's very good. And then we talked about the baculum. If it were a female, behind the bladder, you have the uterus. It looks like a Y-shaped structure with a stem, and then the things that pull out of it are really the cornuas of the uterus, because in these animals you can have multiple births very easily. So they can form all along what we would call fallopian tubes. They're not. They're cornuas, extensions of the uterus. And at the end you have the ovary.